Polk County Regional Health Building, Suite A at this time. I would like to ask everyone to turn off all of their devices or mute them. And at this time, we would like to ask Robert Murphy with First Baptist Church Providence to lead us.
Let's pray. Father, we just praise you for this day. I thank you for your gift, Lord, your goodness. Father, we just thank you for the opportunity to meet, to discuss things of importance to our community. Lord, I thank you for leadership. Thank you for their servant hearts. And Lord, I pray today that as decisions are made and in the coming days, God, that you're honored and glorified. Our community's grown. And Lord, my heart's desire is that they're grown toward you. Lord, that the things that are decided on are things that point us in the right direction. Lord, I praise you. And I thank you for that opportunity, Lord, today, Lord. You're so good. And I just want to thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you. Madam Clerk?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Okay, very well. We have two people for public comments. Mr. Epstein on behalf of Brandon Nelson. You have 3 minutes.
My name is Tyler Epstein. I'm here on attorney representing Brandon Nelson. Polk County, through its regulatory issues, have committed a regulatory taking of roughly 1,950 acres that is now worth $0 by improperly trying to apply regulatory issues that you do not have the authority to apply. The issue is that you don't have unbridled authority. Your authority comes from the state of Texas and it's limited. That's been that way since 1850 in the Supreme Court of Texas, and it continues as today. You don't get to have an opinion on what laws you follow. You don't get a preference of what laws you get to enforce. You have to do it through what you're allowed to do. This county has not done it. It's a limited authority, and you have usurped the state legislature and the state statutes. In fact, the Supreme Court of Texas said you don't get the discretion to misapply or misinterpret the law, and that's what's happening here. And you don't get to invent law that doesn't exist and deny people the property rights that they have. Property rights are strictly enforced. They're private and they're sacred. It's granted by the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this state. No protection for constitutional violations. There is no immunity when you violate the Constitution of the United States or the Constitution of Texas. You have to pay out. Currently, the damages are roughly, if this continues down the path, will be over $7 million. They're close to $750,000 as of current. Honestly, just follow the law. Just do your oath. I've got a brief in here from Bob Bass as well in my exhibits that says that this is exempt. So here are the claim that we're presenting to the county. Every day it goes on, I think the damages roughly add up to around $2,000, $3,000. So the faster that we resolve this, the less money the county has to pay out of the budget, and it can go back to the taxpayers of this county for what it's deserved for, not for the wishes and the whims of the elected officials who violate the Constitution of the United States.
Thank you, Mr. Epstein. Wendy French, speaking on behalf of Best Friends SPCA Polk County regarding animal control. Hey, Wendy.
Hi, good morning. So I'm with Best Friends Animal Society, and I'm a regional strategist there. We're a national animal welfare organization, staff in 50 states. Our main focus is supporting animal shelters, animal control, and its staff. I'm also on the advisory board for the SPCA Polk County. So Best Friends has already shown support to Polk County Animal Control by providing vaccines and covering medical costs for animals that are in care, and providing an improved data collection system that's digital. In the animal welfare industry, it's nationally acknowledged that Texas is the state that's burdened with the largest pet overpopulation issue. At the shelter in Polk County, Animal Control has served approximately 500 cats and dogs in 2024. I do have that data. And the SPCA took in another 500 cats and dogs in 2024. all of which are just animals that were taken into custody of our organizations, not just the ones that were serviced through our clinic over at the SPCA, or were provided community engagement services like vaccines and microchips and all of that kind of stuff. Our constituents, all of ours, are concerned about the state of animal welfare in this county. To generate change and engage with the community, it's really prudent that we work together to address these issues. 74% of people are more likely to support a shelter that is prioritizing saving lives. Best Friends and the SPCA would like to submit a formal invitation to the county leadership to discuss collaboration and problem solving for animal-related issues.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Actually, we do have an agreement already with SPCA in place to coordinate, but certainly give us a call, and if there needs to be further discussion, we will. But animal control does fall under the purview, your sheriff is your rabies control officer, right? And then we do have an animal control officer.
Right. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Okay, information items. First of all, I would like to, we did have some bad news this morning. The former district judge, Ernie McClendon, passed away this morning, so our thoughts and our prayers do need to be with his family at this time. We put some information on all of y'all's seats this is just for your information, and basically what we provided you is with the top 10 taxpayers according to our CAD, and you're gonna see two things. You're gonna see the names, but then you're gonna see market value and then the taxable value. And that's just for your information, so you can see who the top contributors are in terms of Polk County. And then we also provided you with the top 20 county employers, so that you could take a look at the numbers on where a majority of our residents are being working. So that's just more for your information. Okay, we have in our new business, our consent agenda. We have an addendum on number 2 in the amount of $350,126.78. And we also have an addendum on number 20, which was the donations for the Healthy County Wellness Fair, and Linebarger has also made a contribution. So we've received donations from Harbor Hospice, Liberty Tech Teachers Federal Credit Union, NASCLA, and now Linebarger as well. Do I have a motion?
I'll second.
Motion to approve, Commissioner Dubus, second Commissioner Robertson, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, new business, your regular agenda. Item number 21, consider approval of personnel matters as follows. At this time, we have no emergency hires. A, review and consider personnel action form requests submitted by department heads since the last meeting, and review of any authorized emergency hires. We have no emergency hires, and we've provided a listing of all the PAS in your packet. Motion Commissioner Cassidy, second Commissioner Dubus. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 22, consider requests for revisions and amendments to the budget as follows. You have the FY 2025 budget revisions and amendments as presented by the county's auditor's office. A copy of the proposed revisions, number 2025-16, and amendments 2025-16A is included for your review.
I'll make the motion.
Motion to approve, Commissioner Robertson. Second, Commissioner Cassidy. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 23, consider approval of the purchase and installation of emergency response equipment for the Deputy Emergency Management Vehicle by Mobile Communications America in the amount of $7,407. Courtney Comstock has requested this agenda item. It was included in the current quote for MCA, which is included for your review. The purchase was also included in the FY 2025 budget and emergency management capital outlay vehicles. The price has increased by $382, but Courtney is proposing to cover the additional cost from her transportation line item.
So moved.
Motion to
Second.
approve, Commissioner Cassidy, second, Commissioner Dubose. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 24, discuss and consider any all necessary action regarding request for proposals, RFP number 2025-20.1 for voice over internet protocol, which is the VoIP phone system. We requested after the interview, we sent the questions that were asked to each of the companies so that they could respond in writing for you all to review. That was included in your packet. So they're all included in there. We also requested input from the scoring committee, the commissioners, and other attendees, other departments that might be impacted. And we had 4 good companies that rose to the top. At the very top was the feedback that we received was Vested Networks and East Tex Telephone. And all the information has been compiled for you all. So what is the court's pleasure?
Well, mine is, I prefer to go with the Vesta Networks.
Very well. Anyone else?
It looks to me that they're both very good companies. East Tex is a local company, and there is some benefits to that, so that's my position on it. Is that they're both good, but East Tex is local.
East Tex.
Okay, so that comes a motion?
Yes.
Comes as a motion and a second?
Second.
What's that?
Mark, wasn't the motion?
No, he
Nope.
was just
Oh, okay,
stating the
okay,
preference.
sorry. I wrote it down wrong.
Okay, so Commissioner Robertson makes the motion, Commissioner Cassidy makes the second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Opposed by Commissioner Dubose. We did not make note that Commissioner Purvis is not present today. So the ayes have it. The contract will go to East Tex Telephone. Okay, item number 25, discuss and consider any and all necessary action regarding bid number 2025-23 for purchase of 2 motor graders for Road and Bridge Precinct 4 with trade-in of 2 12H VHP motor graders to be funded by Precinct 4 fund balance. On June 24th, the court authorized Commissioner Cassidy to advertise for bids for this purchase, and 2 bids were received. Doggett Machinery Services submitted a bid of $185,000 per vehicle, offering a $43,000 trade-in value and including a 90-day powertrain and hydraulic warranty. Mustang Cat submitted a bid of $448,500 for vehicle number 1 and $212,750 for vehicle number 2, with a combined trade-in value of $69,000 and no warranty included. Commissioner Cassidy?
I'm still waiting to look. Machinery's not close by where I can go look at it. So I'm still waiting.
You're still waiting on what?
To be able to go visually look at it.
Oh, okay, to visually
Yeah,
check it?
They were out on rental, so they were late model used ones, so I'm still waiting.
Okay.
So I'm waiting on them.
Okay, so do you wish to proceed, or you want to table for now?
Just table it for right now, make a motion to table it.
Okay, so you have a motion to table, you want to put it on the next agenda, or just in
Just
the
leave
future?
it be till, I know
Okay.
for certain.
I'll second his.
Okay, table, Commissioner Cassidy, Commissioner Robertson, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, since we've tabled it indefinitely, then you need to make sure you bring it back
Yeah.
to the court when you're ready.
I hope it's late.
I hope so too. Okay, number 26, discuss and consider approval to advertise annual bids. Nicole Reeks has requested this agenda item to begin the process of annual bids for precinct road materials, bulk limestone, tires, oil, grease, gas, diesel, pest control services, motor grader blades, and material hauling. If there are any other bid items that need to be added to the annual bid process, now's the time to tell us. So if you all think of anything else that needs to be added, please let us know pretty quickly. A copy of the bid packet is included for your review. There are a couple of things that I think we need to make note of. First is understanding the county bidding process. Each year, Polk County goes out for competitive bids for commonly used materials and services. This process is required by law. And it is to ensure fairness, transparency, and the best use of taxpayer dollars. And once bids are received and evaluated, the Commissioner Court awards that to the contractors whose bids are accepted. So the county is generally required to purchase any items or services only from those vendors who've submitted successful bids. So this means that we can't simply choose another vendor after we have already approved specific vendors. So please keep that in mind. If there is a vendor that you specifically like doing business with, then they need to make sure that they make application and that they are listed. Okay? So the exceptions to using the approved vendors is that if say a vendor does not have the materials needed or is temporarily out of stock, then you can find someone else. So you can't, but you must follow specific guidelines to do that. We can't just jump up and do this. Okay, this matters because everybody, we have to make sure that we're consistent. We need to make sure that we're accountable, that the auditor's office knows what's going on, and that every other vendor is aware. So and also it's to maintain legal compliance with state purchasing regulations. So, and if you have any questions about whether or not you can purchase something from one of the non-awarded vendors, then please check with the auditor's office or check with Nicole, and they will find out for you what the criteria is. So please review the bid packet. Make sure that if anyone needs to be added, that you let Nicole or the auditor's office or us know immediately so that we can get that information to them. Okay? So we're gonna need their name, address, that kind of stuff. Is there any questions about the bid packet as we move forward? None? Okay. Very well, thank you. I have a motion to approve from Commissioner Dugas.
I'll second.
Second, Commissioner Robertson. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item number 27, authorize Goodwin, Lassiter and Strong, GLS, to re-advertise for water improvement construction bids for Harvey Regional Mitigation Program with a General Land Office contract number 24-065-045-E537. We went out for bids. Only one contractor attended the bid meeting for that project on Tuesday. Because generally GLO does not allow to just have one contractor bid, then what the contractor did was pull back their bid so that the information would not become public information, and they will reapply. And if we only have a single bidder on the second round, then GLO is okay with that. So, but GLO typically requires a project to be rebid if there was only one bidder the first time. So, and generally they have permitted the award based on documentation that we have gone through additional competition, I guess, efforts. So, we would like to re-advertise. If you have any questions about it, you can certainly contact Nick at GLS or check with Jessica. But that's where we are right now, so we would like to re-advertise. I just don't want y'all to be confused thinking, didn't we already advertise for this? So.
So you need a bid to
A motion to
I'll make that motion to re-advertise.
Mr. Robertson, Mr. Cassidy, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. A lot of these bids are starting to kind of all run together on me because we have Harvey mitigation money, we have flood money, we have ARPA funds, and all of them involve water, it seems like. Okay, number 28, discuss and take action on construction bids received on the General Land Office Community Development Block Grant, Housing and Urban Development, most impacted and distressed roads projects as follows. Susan Stover at Waxman has requested that we table this to August the 26th. And this impacts precinct 1 and precinct 3, and that's GLO contract number 24-065-044-E536 and GLO contract number 24-065-045-E537. So I need a motion to table to August the 26th.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Cassidy, Commissioner Dubose, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item number 29. Discuss and consider any and all necessary action related to the proposal from Garland DBS Incorporated for roof replacement at the Dunbar Complex. We consider this an emergency expenditure. It's been brought to us by Grady Woods, our new maintenance supervisor, to fully replace the roof at adult probation. Over the years, we have fixed, repaired, patched, done everything, and now it's reached the point that it just needs to be replaced before damage happens to the interior portion of the building. So Brent Hepler, is Brent Hepler here today? Okay, that's gonna be your black packet.
Yes,
Hey, Brent.
yes. So on your guys' desk, the large document is kind of the assessment of what we do as a manufacturer, right? So we're 100% employee owned, so our success in this project is just as much as you guys. We want to match and be the partner of this building for, on this particular roof system, 25 years, right? So we want to make sure it's designed correctly. We do the scientific evidence to show you why we need to do this. Like you said, it's getting down to structural. So we did an evaluation on structural engineering to see if we could mitigate some of those costs. And unfortunately, with infrared scans, the whole entire system is absolutely saturated down to the wood deck. And so what I'm proposing is to remove all the way down to the deck, assess the wood deck, make sure it's stable, and then we're gonna install a new tapered insulation system, which will run the water to the correct areas of the drains, to the scuppers, and then put a heavy-duty multi-ply system on top for your waterproofing. And so that's what's gonna get you the 25 years of a no-dollar limit warranty for you guys. This is crucial, again, for the structure of that building. I know it's been in the county's possession for a long, long time, and we wanna be a partner for you guys. And so we've done the due diligence to make sure everything is bid correctly through Omnia Purchasing Co-op, which suffices all procurement laws. And these contractors we use pretty heavily as far as good quality contractors, good material, good design. You're gonna have a perfect system once you guys do this. So that's kind of what we have there. So that snapshot is gonna show you all the testing we did, the drawings, the details. And then as an employee owner, we're mandated to be on site 3 times a week during installation to make sure it's done correctly, so that we can catch any errors while they're doing it, not at the end, to make sure the success of that project goes how we planned it.
Sounds good.
Okay?
Anybody have any questions for Grady or for Britt before they sit down? Nope. Okay, go ahead.
Grady's now, I looked at a lot of stuff, that roof is gone.
Yeah.
Yes, it
It's
is.
gone.
We're past that point. We can't patch it anymore. In their x-ray scans, we found drains that were covered up that need to be re-exposed and done correctly. We had budgeted for that 175, but the more you dug, the more worse it got, and it's just, I believe we need to redo it and just
Sounds
get it
good.
over with.
Thank you.
Located out of Houston or
Yes, ma'am. I'm out of Houston, so our headquarters in Cleveland, Ohio, but we have local reps so that we can be on site and be your contact. We assume 100% liability for the whole project as an employee owner and the manufacturer. So we're in this with you guys for the longevity. So I think that's a pretty unique model And a lot of success comes out of that, so.
Very good.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
So, they received 3 quotes from 3 vendors. FW Wolfen Incorporated in the amount of $376,180. Brazos Urethane in the amount of $381,303. And Atlas Universal in the amount of $475,553. And the recommendation is to go with FW Walton Incorporated for $376,118.
So moved.
Second.
Moved Commissioner Cassidy, second Commissioner Dubus. Before we go any further, I do have to say that we will have to submit a budget amendment for approval at the next meeting, so we can pull this money from general fund, and then at the end of the year, we can make it whole again. Okay, so I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item number 30, consider approval of funding agreement with the Texas Veterans Commission for the 2025-2026 financial assistance grant and resolution for payment of reimbursable expenses not to exceed $5,000 per transaction. Polk County has been awarded a $235,000 grant through the Fund for Veterans Assistance. A copy of the funding agreement was included in your packet for your review. This provides assistance for families for the veterans with utility bills, rent, mortgage payments, vehicle repairs, and other essential needs. And so, the other thing though is that given the urgency that's often required to prevent any disruption of essential services, we have prepared a resolution that's also included for your review that authorizes the processing of these payments to occur prior to formal approval by the court, that ensures timely support for the veterans in need. This will be similar to the way we did the CDBG buyout, is that sometimes the money needs to go, and we don't want them getting their electricity cut off because we have not got an opportunity to approve it in court.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Commissioner Robertson, motion to approve.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Cassidy. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, number 31, consider approval upon conditions met or rejection of Hunter's Ridge subdivision, section 2 application located in precinct 2. Jed Morris's recommendation letter is included for your review. In the letter, Jed recommends conditional approval contingent upon the developer adding phrase out of said survey to Appendix C. It's now ready. Becky Marsh has confirmed that it is now ready for full approval. However, Becky advised the developer to obtain all the required family signatures. How many family signatures do you all still need? Is this one of you all's? Okay. Before presenting the plat to the court for signatures, and so she would like to have it ready for signature by the court by August 12th. One of the things that has happened before is that the developer shows up, we approve it, we sign everything, but then they don't have all the signatures on their side. So then Becky has to chase them down, call them, and try to locate people. So what we agreed to do is that from this point forward, when the plat comes to the court, it will have all the necessary signatures for the developer, the seller, whomever, before the court signs it. So she would like to, I guess we can approve, but she will not have it ready for signatures until August 12th.
So we need to table until then?
No, we can approve it.
Okay.
We can approve it, but it won't be here for signatures till they get all the signatures themselves. So is that a
Motion.
Motion to approve, Commissioner Dubus.
I'll second.
Second, Commissioner Robertson. All in favor, say aye. Motion carries. Okay, budget workshop. We still have not received the rolling stock from the comptroller's office. So we will move the information, I guess I should say, to Tuesday, August the 26th but you do have an updated calendar included in your packet. Now, while the revised timeline allows us time to finalize budget decisions, delaying the adoption rate means that the board will no longer have the option to adopt a tax rate above the voter approval rate. So keep in mind that we're trying to stay within statutory timelines that the legislature has set. So right now, that's not an issue, but in the future, it may be. If we have some kind of emergency situation, it may be. So keep that in mind. Okay, so Tatum, the tax assessor collector's office, will be able to take a final look at the rolling stock whenever we receive that information. And we are scheduled to officially receive the tax rate calculation and vote on August 12th. So we are also continuing to pursue funding through the Public Defender's Grant Program. And so this does give us some flexibility to incorporate that funding into our budget planning. Okay, so there are a couple of things. We did have some suggestions that came with regards to the budget. One was to sweep all the money from the discretionary fund into the base salaries, the salary schedule. So the problem with that is that it removes flexibility completely from every elected official. It puts all the authority right here at this table. So we would be making decisions for every other elected official without giving them any possibility of providing input. The purpose of having both, which we had a lot of positive input last year when we did that, providing both, is that that allows the elected official to be able to recognize people that go above and beyond in their office, and we have no way of knowing that. We don't know what happens in other people's offices. The other thing is that the original input for this was to create a gap between brand new employees and your more experienced employees. And if all you do is raise the pay scale every time, then there's never gonna be a gap. You're never going to have, the steps will not occur, I guess is my point. One of the areas that this was a huge concern was actually with the sheriff's office, because they would have a deputy that had 3, 4, 5 years experience making the same money as a deputy that had 3, 4, 5 months of experience. So you need to be able to create a gap between your inexperienced workers and your experienced workers. So that's the issue with that. So the other recommendation that was made, or suggestion that was made, is that we take money out of the general fund to balance our budget. Well, then in that case, we are not presenting a balanced budget. A balanced budget means that you are living within your means. You are not scooping out of the general fund to balance your budget. The issue with that is that personnel is not a one-time cost. Personnel is a forever cost. So it's one thing to take money and say, okay, this is what we're gonna utilize to purchase equipment, because that's a one-time cost. But personnel is forever. So we would have to continue to not present a balanced budget and take money out of the general fund. That is one of the issues that the court had to deal with, because they were in the habit of getting money out of the general fund to balance the budget, And so our credit rating went down to a B. And then the other thing that happens is when your credit rating goes down, then your interest rates to borrow money goes up. And so far, if you look at, I gave you all a copy, if you look at the monies that we have borrowed, okay, if you look at our prior tax notes, all of those issuances have been at very, very low rates, okay? So the cost, for example, is on our tax notes for 2018 was 2.87%. Our 2019 tax issue was 2.3%. Our 2020 was at 1.2914. Our 2021 was at 1.20999. And our 2022, we're at 2.325. We can't afford for that to happen. So, what we have normally done, historically, what we have done, because if you look at this sheet, which we've looked at multiple times, so if you look at your capital purchase projections, first of all, if you look at your bottom line here, we were able to at least get an idea on what a 28-passenger bus would cost. And so our 2026 tax note projections at this time are just under $1 million. So now if you look on the right-hand side, the prior tax note issues that are not yet retired, you see that beginning in 2023, we had no issue. We had capital projections in the amount of $690,860. But we were able to pay that with surplus depository interest and with our IAH funds. They came in above projections. In 2024, we did the same thing. In 2025, we did not issue any tax notes because all purchases were budgeted. Now keep in mind, in this same period of time, the same 4 or 5 years, we have gone from purchasing vehicles every year to sweeping the vehicles into the budget. So sometimes the vehicle request would be for 13 to 15 vehicles. We would have over $1 million worth of requests in vehicles. So we're maintaining a balanced budget and we really don't want to endanger that. So what we have historically done with IAH funds, because you cannot depend on the IAH funds, because some of those funds, the majority of those funds, as we already know, are dependent on what's going on in Washington. So if you will recall, at one time, the county was receiving over $1 million in income from the IAH facility. It went from over $1 million to zero in 1 month. And that's when we were in such a crunch with our budget, because we had allowed the IH monies to be utilized for personnel. So then we had to go into the mode of saving jobs, saving retirement, saving insurance. That became my only focus. So we've recovered, we're stable, we're looking good. IAH monies, because of the current administration, those IAH monies are increasing, they are going up. So what we've been doing is at the end of the year, not beforehand, we don't project that we're gonna have all that money, but at the end of the year, What we have received, that's when we make a disbursement to each of the commissioners, or we put additional monies in maintenance, or we put additional monies in IT, or we retire our debt. But we make sure that we have the money right here before we do that. That make sense to everybody? Okay. So, also, what has happened with our depository interest is because we had a good rating, then when we borrowed the money at a low interest rate, but now a lot of that money is sitting there because it was for the courthouse, it was for historic buildings, right? We borrowed it at a very, very low interest rates, but we are receiving higher depository rates. So we borrowed low, but now we're making more in terms of deposits. So, does that answer some of the questions that you all had about the budget?
Okay, so on discretionary funds, so if we give, so you're saying that if we give law enforcement, jailers particularly, right? Say 75% of that, right? And each other department after that, you know, can come with recommendations on, you know, what the funds they want to give their hands, their people.
Okay, the total amount was $285,000?
$285,000.
Okay, well then, please send it to me in writing, and then we will send that out for everybody to, you know, for the court to consider, because we're not adopting today, right? But send that in writing, because here's the other thing too, is that is actually, when we give the money to the sheriff, it's at his discretion as to whether or not it would go to jailers, or if it would go to his administrative staff to some degree or another. So just put that in writing. How many employees do you have, Sheriff? A little over 100? Okay, so he has a little over 100, and so then, so you figure the rest of it would be split between 200 people. What's left? So 25% of the 285,000 would be split between 200 people.
Also, another suggestion, it might not work this year, but next year, things like the bond forfeiture that we're not collecting and stuff, right? That we should be collecting.
Sorry, I didn't understand what you said.
Bond forfeiture, revenue from the bond forfeitures.
And I would have to research that, but you are correct. Historically, bond forfeiture has not been collected. Whose responsibility is that?
The DA's, I believe,
Yes.
Well, then we will visit with,
which also could help go to law enforcement too.
okay, so law enforcement and the DA's office can discuss how to proceed with bond forfeiture. I think bond forfeiture has been discussed before, but it was discussed with the previous DA. So, we'll sit down, you and the sheriff, and we'll all sit down and discuss it. Okay, any other suggestions or recommendations? I mean, obviously, we can't do anything about bond forfeiture now because
Yeah,
it
yeah.
hasn't been done, so it's
But
not
it
available.
could be good to have it.
Well, if nothing else, for statistics, for data purposes, we don't know how much money is out there that could have potentially been collected in bond forfeiture. We don't know that. Okay, anything else? Nope,
All right.
not
Okay,
right now.
think Numbers are running.
Well, you better make it quick. Better make it quick, we're running out of time. Okay, next one. number 33, discuss certificate pay and qualifications. Okay, so certificate pay is a form of supplemental compensation that is provided to employees in certain roles. And those individuals receive job-related certifications that are beyond the minimum requirements for that job. So at this time, we have all of our law enforcement have the ability to gain 3 different certificates. Each of those certificates, they receive compensation in the amount of $600 per certificate. And they can do up to 3 per year. And then, and that's in the sheriff's office, the jail, the criminal investigators, environmental enforcement, and the fire marshal are all eligible for those. At this time, we have the Justice of the Peace clerks who hold civil and/or criminal certifications, and they are being paid $200 per certificate per year for their certificates. So we have some other departments, and we have some other elected officials that have similar circumstances in their offices or in their departments. And so it's obvious with law enforcement, and it's obvious with the JP clerks, because there's a test involved, there's testing, you see what I'm saying? So it's obvious what it is. So what we need some guidance from the court, and we'll be happy if you will send us information on what you think or what you feel, but so far this is the information that we have gathered. So if we're gonna have certificate pay, then we have to have some kind of principles or some kind of guidance on how we get there. First of all, the certification must be job related. So we can't have someone show up and say, well, I have a certificate in something that has nothing to do with their job. We don't pay our DA for being a CPA. I don't get paid for my LPC, though I do have to say I've used my counseling more since I've been here. So the point is it has to be related to that job. Casey has multiple people in her department that could gain certificate pay because it's very specific knowledge, information, testing, training, etc. The clerks have people in their offices that potentially could receive certificates. I have not had a conversation with our tax assessor collector, with Terry. I don't know what certifications are available to the DA's office, etc. So it must be job related, and it must directly enhance the employee's ability to perform their current job duties. So it can't be a certificate that is required to have that job. It has to be a certificate that makes their current job duties, their services improved or better. It should, again, it should not be something that they already should have to do the basic duties of the position. And it must be substantive. It can't be, oh, I watched a 2-hour video and now I'm licensed or certified. So it must be a meaningful investment of time and effort, and it should be something that they can prove where there's either some kind of testing or some kind of verification to it. Any new certifications that elected officials want us to consider, you need to submit to the court. So the court can say yay or nay to those particular certificates. So we may need to develop some kind of matrix or a formal policy, and I do think we should have a formal policy that clearly identifies what the certificate pay would amount to. But I do think it's something that if it's going to improve our services, it's going to improve the quality of work that our employees are able to perform or provide, then they should be compensated for their time, energy, and efforts. So do you all wish for us to continue to pursue this? do you want us to proceed?
I think it's a good idea, and I think it'd be good to have, like you were saying, have all of the certifications listed that would be possible for each,
That would be approved, okay?
for each position, and then people know what would count for the position they were in.
Yeah, because we have had some people say, well, I want certificate pay because when I worked at, I did this or this, but it's not related at all to the services they are performing now. And we're not talking about, I have my certificate for Excel. I mean, if you're in a job that requires that you know how to do Excel, well then hopefully you do. Right. Anybody else? And we can bring that to the court. That can be something that the court can approve, every year if necessary. Okay, so elected officials, get to work figuring out what your, now one thing too is that we have limited, we have followed the TCOL. Since TCOL has 3 max, then we would like to follow that as well with others, so that there's 3 max certifications that they can get compensated for. Okay, if you have anything, any input, then please send it to me. And also, I need the same thing from department heads or elected officials as well, if you have anything you want us to consider. Okay, item 34, approve publication of proposed increase in salaries, allowances, and other expenses of elected county and precinct officers. A copy of the publication is included for your review. Notices were distributed to all elected officials on July the 17th, and no grievance letters have been submitted to the county judge's office. So we need a motion to approve publication to the public.
So moved.
Commissioner Cassidy, any second? Commissioner Dubose, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item number 35, discuss and consider approval of proposals from the Enterprise Lease Management for 20 vehicles with an annual lease price of $283,814.76. The court has reviewed information and pricing for these vehicles at the last 2 budget meetings. All aftermarket equipment for law enforcement units has been incorporated into the capital purchase projections, which is this page right here. And the annual lease costs have been accounted for in the operations budget. Copies of the proposals are included for your review. We do not wish to delay any further. We would like to go ahead and move forward with it so that the sheriff's department can receive delivery of their vehicles. We got caught in the COVID crunch at one point in time and ended up 18 months behind on delivery of vehicles, so we'd like to move forward.
Make that motion.
Motion to approve, Commissioner Dubose, Commissioner Robertson. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 6, schedule a public hearing on proposed FY 2026 budget. Local Government Code Section 111.007 requires the Commissioners Court to hold a public hearing on the proposed budget no later than the 25th day after the budget is filed. So following the conclusion of that hearing, the court must take formal option to adopt the budget. So to meet this requirement and allow enough time for final budget adjustments, it's recommended that the court schedule the public hearing on the proposed budget for Tuesday, August 26th to comply with those statutory requirements of posting notice at least 10 days in advance. So the notice must be submitted to the Polk County Enterprise by Monday, August 11th. Motion to approve scheduling the public hearing.
I'll second.
Commissioner Dubose, second Commissioner Robertson, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Commissioner Cassidy,
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Dubose, motion to adjourn. 10:54? Our next regularly scheduled meeting will be Tuesday, August the 12th. Very well, thank you, everybody.
Right.